I'm Rob Licuria at Derby here with Emmy-nominated actor Dakota Fanning. Dakota, welcome. Let's start with the basics. You play Abby in The Perfect Couple. When you first read the script, what moments or qualities made you say, I have to be a part of this?
Well, I first was introduced to the project through Susanne Bier, who I had worked with before and became very close to. So she called me and told me a bit about the character. I don't even think she told me the title of the show or the book that it was based on. She said Nicole was involved, and I said yes. So that was my introduction to it. And then, of course, read the scripts and found out who was playing all the other parts. And as the cast was coming together, I got more and more excited. But it was Suzanne and Nicole were the two biggest draws for me. I would do anything for Suzanne, and I had never had the opportunity to work with Nicole before, so I was super excited to do that. And it just came together in the most seamless way, and the story turned out to be so juicy, and I was getting to play a character that I really felt like I had never played before, and got to be a part of such an incredible ensemble of actors, and we just had the absolute best time.
It really shows that you all had the best time, and not just because of the opening credits, which we will touch on later, but just because it just seems to come together so beautifully, the chemistry. And I hear a lot from actors and other artists that when someone like Nicole Kidman puts her name on the project, it really does attract a lot of other people who want to work with her. Like over the decades, she's really cemented herself as one of the greats. What was it? What did you most value about that collaboration with her?
She's such an icon. I mean, like you said, she is one of a kind, and she continues to push her own limits and boundaries and stretching. She is constantly like stretching herself into new characters and spaces. And like I don't know how she gets it all done. Like she seemingly is like defying the laws of time and space with her career, and also being having a really wonderful personal life too that's really important to her. Like, she just is seemingly able to really do it all. And it was really inspiring to get to watch her work and get to know her as a person. And she has such an amazing sense of humor, is really funny and really warm, and is still really down for the adventure of being an actor so many years into her career, which I'm very inspired by and hope to emulate as I continue mine. So
Yeah,
it was really exciting. My sister's worked with her a few times and
yeah.
has known her, and so I'd heard what a magical experience it would be, and it was.
Yeah, I love hearing them. I just think when people tell me, oh, I had a great time on this, I love working with that person, and it seems, and it obviously comes across so genuine, it makes us feel good. It makes us think that, maybe there is hope.
Yeah.
And you're a veteran actress too now. Like, you've been around for a while and you've had so many diverse roles. So was there anything about Abby, just on the face of it, that felt new or particularly challenging for you?
Well, it definitely, the character as a whole felt new, because I don't think that people are or people haven't seen me play this particular kind of character before. She's a little bitchy. She says kind of the socially unacceptable things in a very light, breezy tone, as if they're totally normal. Um,
So
she
much
is
fun.
she is pregnant and would like everyone to know at all times. She is one of those ladies that has a hand on her stomach constantly. And which is very natural, by the way. It's like you don't know where else to put your hands when you
Well,
are
it's
where
there.
when you have the belly.
Yeah.
um, which you don't realize until you have one. But she still, says these quips and remarks as if they're totally normal. And I really enjoyed getting to play a character like her, who worships Nicole's character, her mother-in-law, and is trying to be like her at all times, and, sort of so much so to the point that she doesn't even kind of know who she is anymore or what her real opinions are. She's constantly trying to fit into this mold and living in this kind of warped reality. And that's the thing that I also loved about the show itself, which you don't realize right away, but as we sort of got into it, it kind of developed over time, is the heightened tone and the specificity of the tone. Like everyone looks, it's a real life world and a real life family and real life characters, but everything is just kind of has the volume turned up a little bit, and it's rated, and it's candy and kind of aware of itself in a particular way, which was really fun to play with as an actor, and I think also fun to watch as a viewer. So I loved getting to kind of find that in my character and find those bits to really kind of turn up the volume on.
Yeah, you're so right. Like that didn't occur to me until like halfway through the series, and I was like, oh, this is meta-ish.
Yeah.
And it's turned up. It's like Technicolor, and it's strange tone, but it's so compelling. So speaking of compelling, if you're watching this interview, viewers, and you haven't seen the show, I suggest that you go away, maybe watch it, and come back later, because we are going to spoil it, and it's going to be pretty significant. So that now out of the way. Did Susanne Bier really call you and say, do you want to play a murderess?
That was like the first thing that she said. She was like, you're Nicole's daughter-in-law, you're pregnant, and you're the murderer. And I was like, okay.
No one said yes.
In her Susanne way. I was like, okay, yeah, yes. So I knew going in that my character was going to be the murderer. So I read it with that in mind. And so that was also another fun part of the process was Susanne. I think a lot of the choices that are made in terms of the mystery, I think it was our job to kind of give her a bunch of different options, and then in the edit figure out what was needed where. And so we had talked about that before, because I was like, do you want me to play the character as the murderer the whole time, or should I play her as totally not the murderer the whole, like how do you want that? And she was like, that's something we're gonna have to figure out. And so sometimes she would be like, let's do a take where you're the murderer, and like, so there would just be the like extra little thing inside,
ticks
yeah, exactly, like
yeah.
And then it would be, I think what ended up being the way that we went most of the time was that she is not the murderer at all. She doesn't know what anyone's talking, is totally like whatever she did is completely out of her head for the whole weekend.
I always wonder that when you're an actor playing a character, so obviously that is some form of pretend, who is pretending herself. That can't be that easy. I mean, you must have, I imagine if you didn't have a good connection with the director and your cast and you are trying to navigate that, it would be very difficult, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was never navigating any of it alone. Suzanne's just the greatest partner an actor could have. Jack Rayner, who played my husband, like we were on our own show, the two of us, a lot of the time. Like, we were doing our own thing. We became so close. He's such a great actor. We like leaned into the heightened nature of our characters and their marriage and all of that. And so we just had the greatest time. And everyone, I mean, there was not one person that didn't just fit right in. Like, we all just became really fast friends. Eve is one of my really good friends in real life for years. So getting to work with her was such a dream. And yeah, we were all like on the same page and on the same team and really having fun with it. And I think people can really tell that when they watch the show. Like, it's fun when the real chemistry is actually there and it's not pretend. It's like more fun to watch, And I think
absolutely,
that we were really having such a blast.
Speaking of having blast, the title sequence, everyone talks about it, but it's a highlight. It's one of those ones that you never ever skip. Right? You never skip. And it was because it's so unexpected and captivating. And I just wonder how it felt amongst the cast to be doing this looser more surreal version of your characters in that weird meta moment?
I was super confused by the dance sequence when it was first introduced to me, and I was like, I'm not doing that. It's like, and I wasn't the only one.
Wow.
But, but I was like, I'm so confused. Like, what? We're going to be doing a dance? Like, I don't understand. And I think it was just my bigger fear that like I wasn't going to be able to do it and that I was going to make an idiot of myself. Ultimately, I would do, like I said, anything that Susanne asked of me. So I always knew that I would eventually be doing it. But it was fun to pretend to complain about it. And then when we did talk about it, I was like, oh, you know what? It makes so much sense because you do need to introduce to the audience in some way that this is like a heightened version of reality, and that it sets you up right away to know that there's going to be something off in this, you know what I mean? Just it's going to be a heightened time, and it gets people like kind of prepared for it by the kind of this meta moment and like why are they why are they all dancing?
What
like
are they doing?
The little bit of confusion probably the first time someone watched it, and then as you get into the show it starts to be like, oh, of course, like, you know, like I said, like the show is kind of aware of itself in a really particular way, and so that's why that dance is there. And so I was like, oh, Susanne, you know what you're doing. I never doubted you. It also was the most fun to do. It was the last thing that I filmed.
Oh,
And
really?
I was like, wait, we're not doing it again? We're done? What? Seriously? Like, I wanted to keep doing it. And we just had the best time being all together and doing something super silly. And we laughed a lot.
I actually see it because it's so meta as it's so aware of itself being a murder mystery that we see all the characters kind of like chess pieces doing their little dance. And then as the show progresses, they're all being put on the board. That's how I saw it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I just want to take you back to 2006. You won the Critics' Choice Award for Best Young Actress for War of the Worlds. And the reason why I bring it up is because that's the role where I really stood up and took notice of you as a performer. I thought you were fantastic. But looking back, how do you feel like that experience shaped you so early in your career? And does anything from working on such a massive film like that still influence you today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I was very aware working on a movie directed by Steven Spielberg with Tom Cruise. It doesn't get more making a movie than that. You know, it's like it's peak of making a movie. And I knew that at the time, and I look back on that experience and like am so grateful for it because of getting to know the two of them, and also what I've seen it in with different directors or and people along the way, but especially Steven, I kind of saw it for one of the first times, is like the people that come back and work with them again and again and again, like the crew and the kind of family unit. And when Steven calls, everybody answers and everybody's there, and he's worked with the same people for many different projects over the years, and kind of seeing that camaraderie and that kind of family thing that happens on a set. I really saw that, and it's like the mark of a great director, people who want to work with them again and again and again and would do anything for them. And so I really saw that with Steven, and also just the way that Steven and Tom are able to keep the like emotional center of a story amongst like special effects and like all visual effects and the things that you don't see on the day. But they had like a previs of the whole movie made. So if we would watch like a little clip of the scene, and you could kind of see what everything was going to look like in the tripods. And so you could have an idea in your mind when then you're, just against a green screen. And so that was always really helpful. And just also the magic of making a movie and like the fun, how special it is, and really like appreciating and honoring that every day. I think Tom and Steven do that more than anyone I've ever worked with. And so everybody's like grateful and happy to be there because it's really cool to make movies.
It sure is, especially with those two.
So yeah, I am filled with gratitude at having had that experience, and especially at a young age, I've carried it with me. Yeah, and will forever.
Just over a year ago, you were nominated for Ripley. Beautiful, stylish, slow burn, psychological piece. So different to this, to Perfect Couple. How did that recognition feel? And what's it like when you wake up and you got all these text messages saying you're now an Emmy nominee? That's amazing.
Oh, it really, yeah, it was so special. We all worked really hard on Ripley, and it was a huge effort from every single person involved, every crew member, every cast member, Steve, Andrew, Johnny. To be nominated for something is very exciting, and I was just happy for everyone, happy for all of
Yeah.
us that it's recognized in that way. And yeah, something to you can always hold on to and look back on. And so it was very special and unexpected, and I was very thrilled to be there and share it with Andrew and Steve and everyone who made it. It was a really wonderful night. Yeah, good.
And so what is the experience like for you personally from the red carpet to the ceremony? Was there a moment that you can recall that stuck out with you at all that maybe surprised you?
I was just on cloud nine. I mean, it's something that when it happens, it's like the cherry on top of something, and so I was just super excited to be there, and you get to get dressed up and be in a room full of people that you yourself are fans of and watch on their shows and be in that room. And so it was thrilling, and sitting right with Andrew, and you work really hard on something, and you never know how it's going to be viewed or and you kind of have to separate those two things, right? The making of it, and then the kind of once it's released and what happens, who knows? And so I think we felt very fulfilled by getting to, have it be recognized in that way after putting so much of our time and ourselves into the process. And so I think for us, we were able to give each other a squeeze and just enjoy the night.